Spoiler alert, this week we're retesting 15.3. Stay tuned until the end of the episode where I'll break it down and help you improve your score if you've never done it, or if you have done it, and if you've never done it, put up a good one. Blah, 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 blah.
TTT THROWDOWN!
Yeah! On this week's Throwdown, we have Pasta Pip and Jambalaya Jordan demo the workout.
We've got ring muscle ups, wall balls, and double unders.
I don't like my line, but we release these workouts right here on YouTube every Thursday at that time, PM, standard time.
You got so angry when you did
11 or 1? 1.
Just 1.
1 PM. Check out our online training programs. If you're a competitor in CrossFit, check out TTT Compete. For those of you that want to look good and feel good, check out TTT Fitness. Head to trainingthinktank.com for more info.
What's that workout, Mia?
This week's Throwdown is 15.3, a 14-minute AMRAP of 7 ring muscle ups, 50 wall balls, and 100 dubs.
You're gonna need a good warm up for this workout, so look in the description down below. There you'll also find a link to sign up for the leaderboard.
Our demo athletes are Jordan and Pip, both RX level athletes, and you already know the deal that we are in a training cycle right now where we're testing open workouts. This is an exact open test, so go to your 2015 leaderboard and check out the scores and try to beat them.
Let's see it.
3, 2, 1, 0.
15.3 retest.
Did you do this workout?
Yeah, guess my score.
0. 1 rep, 2, 5, 7, 4.
Wow, so
4.
You did 4 muscle ups. How long of an AMRAP is this? I already forgot.
It's 14 minutes.
Okay.
So what, 1 rep on the 4.5 minutes?
I got my first muscle up in it, and then I squeaked out 3 more.
I would say that's pretty normal in the open, but one of the things I would always say is try to get them before the open starts. So do our intermediate path in TTT Compete, and you can get those.
So we have 2 very different athletes taking on this workout. Jordan is very good at gymnastics. He did the 7 unbroken, and he is limited on wall balls. And then you have Pip, who is limited on gymnastics, but she's very good at wall balls, double unders, anything endurance-wise.
Yeah, she is a grinder for sure, but this is typical for the open. You're gonna have these combos where you're good at 1 or 2 of the movements and then there's one that you're really bad at. It's just finding a strategy that makes sense so that you can get through the limitation that you have and then hopefully kind of pull ahead or separate yourself on something like wall balls for Pip.
Yeah, this is an interesting workout too I think at the time it was pretty controversial because it started with muscle ups and a lot of the other workouts didn't start that way. So people that got exposed in it literally got no reps and had to go to an intermediate or scale. One thing to note, I'm going to be crabby, constructive, something. I couldn't think of an alliteration term. Pip's lockout on some of these muscle ups. She's getting to the top and pausing, but it looks like just the lockout at the elbow joint's not fully locked out. So it's definitely something to work on. Pip, you're awesome, and I appreciate you demoing, and you're a great dancer, but lock these muscle ups out.
I'm sure she'll appreciate that. She has like hyper mobile elbows, so I wonder if that has something to do with it.
Yeah, it's actually a really common thing in females getting strong enough but not having ring stability to fully lock out. And if you see gymnasts, they kind of have that like overextension ability where they can lock out and turn out pretty well, and this inside of their forearm is built out really well developed. So it's something that you can kind of train with longer duration holds and stuff.
This is a really good angle to see the difference in how much easier the wall balls are for Pip. She's going to 9 feet. She's a little bit taller than Jordan. Jordan has to go to 10 feet. You can see he had to jump towards the last maybe 10 or 15 wall balls. She looks much more comfortable. But you watch him do the muscle ups, he looked much more comfortable on the rings. And so that's, again, you're going to have these differing limitations, and it's just about finding and attacking those things in a workout like this.
Should we advocate for male equality where wall ball heights and boxes are dictated by your height instead of gender?
We've never had this conversation before. It's so interesting.
Both of them look pretty comfortable on the double unders. I remember this workout, that being by far the hardest thing for me, which is sad.
Yeah, one thing to note too about Jordan's hand position is real tight and his double under arc is just over his head, whereas Pip's arms are a little bit farther out. I've seen people at the highest level do both of those, but most of the jump rope coaches that I've talked to talk about pulling the hands more inward so your shoulders don't blow up as much, and because it shortens the arc and makes it spin faster. But when I try it, I miss more. So it is what it is.
I do too, but you do see some of the best double underers in the sport, like Travis, and he's really tight, shoulders rolled forward. He's spinning with his wrists, and for someone like him, like he doesn't even get tired when he's doing sets of 100. So this workout for him is like a dream. Whereas someone that's really limited with the double unders, it's so hard to go back to the muscle ups, even if you're good at them.
Yeah, this type. Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say they were pretty even coming off of that first round, so it seems like at least for the first round, the limitations kind of balanced themselves out.
Yeah, so it's going to be muscle up, endurance for Pip, and then I guess just wall ball volume accumulation for Jordan, and they both seem pretty equitable on the double unders.
Yeah.
Is equitable the right word?
I would say that's fair.
Sure.
The challenge with having the muscle up as a limitation is once you hit the wall, you have to take really long breaks, whereas even if you hit the wall on wall balls, maybe you're doing small sets, but you can keep chipping away at them. Yeah. So there's just so much more time wasted on something like the muscle up.
Yeah, I don't know who won the workout, but I would, if I were a betting man right now, I'd bet on Jordan because that limitation just should eat away at his time a little bit less.
And you can see how, I mean, this is what, 25 or 30 seconds already for Pip, but she has to wait that long. If you miss a muscle up in this workout, then you're really costing yourself a lot of time.
Yeah. Little technical things to do. Do you have any context on when Pip first developed her gymnastics? Like her ability to do them?
I don't know exactly when, but I think she's been with Adam maybe a year-ish, and she was struggling to do singles. Okay. So this is a newer thing to string them together in a workout.
Yeah. Mia, you write all of our technical progressions for muscle ups and TTT compete. So what are some of the things that you watch Pip, what are some things you would tell her, or what are some progressions that you would give her to help with this?
The first thing for her would be to work on her hip drive in her turnover. As she gets tired, her feet start coming up really high, but her hips are sitting low, so she's not actually getting her weight up to help her into the turnover, and having her feet that high makes the turnover actually more difficult because she has to throw herself over harder, which messes up the timing. It's harder on your pull, and the biggest issue for me when I start doing that is my breathing gets out of control because I'm throwing myself so hard.
Yeah. You're sitting up like almost into a compressed L sit, crushing all your breath out. And also it makes the transition from that into the dip harder because you have to wait for your legs to drop.
Yeah. It is funny though because sometimes you think that kicking your feet really aggressively is a hip drive when it's not, right? So like you get confused and you're trying to drive your feet even higher, but that's making it even harder and harder to turn over.
Yeah, I try to cue with athletes, if your feet are higher than your hips, they're not helping you anymore. Yeah. So they're actually working against you.
That's one of the most common faults that I see, and even if I get fatigued, I'll just kick with my feet because I'm strong enough in my upper body to still pull over, but it's just super sloppy technique.
Yeah. I definitely still do it when I get tired.
It's also no rep at certain competitions. Yes. It's one of the parameters that they limit that your feet can't go above. I guess to prevent people that are really efficient at glide kipping.
Yeah, on the bar. I don't think it really helps you on the rings, but I can understand why they don't want people flipping upside down.
Yeah, just for safety.
So I wasn't counting Jordan's reps, but it looked like he was maybe doing sets of around 10 reps,
I think so.
Maybe 5 sets of 10 or something like that. That makes sense.
His first 2 sets, he started with a bigger unbroken set and then broke them into smaller sets. And we talked after this about when he does retest this, training 10s and trying to get that rest break in between 10s as linear as possible because his rest breaks start to get pretty long. Not so much that set, but in the sets coming up. And then he's resting 15 seconds to do 8 wall balls and at max effort. So I think staying linear with wall balls is pretty smart if it's a limitation for you.
I've also seen Brandon do really small sets of wall balls, really small, not like sets of 1, but like half of what people are doing and take short rest breaks and be able to keep up in big wall ball sets. So I think even if you have to go down to sets of 3 or 5, if you can let the ball hit the ground, take a breath, and go right back up into your next rep, you can actually break up a wall ball a pretty good amount and still keep up.
Yeah, it does matter how fast you are too on the squat speed of that. I know it doesn't seem like you can make up time there, but if you catch in the bottom of a squat and then drive out quickly, you are saving some time. So that's the way that you can break those up. But I mean, again, if Jordan has to do, a 40 or 50 second break because he did 25-25, you're losing so much time compared to 10s with 5-second breaks.
So let's watch transition from double under to muscle up for Jordan. I think he got off at about 8 15. So 12 seconds to be up on the rings is pretty impressive. He's a lighter athlete, and I think he's pretty competent and efficient in all the skills. So that would be, I think the double unders and muscle ups are two places that he's probably winning time against a big portion of the field doing it like this.
His muscle ups still look pretty good too.
Yeah, he keeps them unbroken and.
Well,
having the long hair.
I know rep that last one.
Okay,
That's
good.
what it was. Yeah.
I was thinking it, and I was like, should I say it again and be
Yeah.
the no rep Nelly over here?
Mia, what is it like having long hair doing double unders? Because she's had to fix her hair twice now, and I
Well,
see females do
you
that
got
all
to
the
go
time.
low ponytail
Okay.
or low braid. But if you go low braid, you got to be careful because it could still hit the rope. So you got to tuck the braid. Low
Tuck it.
ponytail or low bun is good. But if you go bun, you got to go 2 hair ties.
Ladies, keep that in mind.
You also have the option of shaving your head, and you never have those issues.
So this combination, I think after this workout came out, it became kind of popular, and it came out in like Wodapalooza qualifier, and I think I've done it in another qualifier.
It's actually come out in the Open, I think, two
Yes, it
other
has.
times in 2 different formats.
Right.
I could be wrong on this. I should have pulled this up before we started, but I think wall balls and muscle ups have been comboed 4 or 5 times in the 11 years that the Open has been a thing.
Yeah. So it's a
Statistic,
bias.
Brandon.
Yeah. If we call this out as a bias, they'll end up not doing it ever again
Yeah.
just to spite your data. But
That's okay.
Yeah. But
New trends will
we've
emerge.
seen the patterns.
With this combination, even though for me muscle ups are at the end of the day the limitation, my breathing goes so high. Even though wall balls are something I can usually breathe well in, double unders I can breathe well in, but these 3 movements together, it's so metabolic even though I'm not like sprinting through muscle ups. I don't know if that's just me. Jordan mentioned that it was a lot more metabolic than he expected and not as much muscular. So maybe think of a more aerobic warm up before this one.
Yeah,
sure.
I think there's a lot of power in each muscle up rep and the amount of tension you have to hold, and then jumping and a full squat and your arms overhead. It's just like every movement is pretty high power in this.
Yeah. So for those that did this in 2015, what are some ways that you guys would suggest to make sure that you beat your old score if you've been training the entire time? Some people may have stopped CrossFit and then you can't expect to beat your score, but someone that has been training the last 6 years.
Well, I could do an EMOM of muscle ups and beat my
You
score.
would do well.
Yeah, so I think if a lot of that answer to that question is that this was now 7 years ago in the Open. If you've been training since this time and your muscle ups haven't evolved or your double unders haven't evolved, like those could be the 2 movements that potentially people couldn't do at the time.
Right.
You should have gotten better at those in that period of time. So I doubt you were consistent. I feel like,
Called out.
yeah, this should be a test that if you did and you have continued with training, you should be able to repeat and beat pretty easily.
I guess unless you were already really good
Yeah.
back then.
Yeah.
If you were really good, then I would at least look at your old score, see how long it took you per round, or go watch your old video and just see where you can make up time. Most people aren't going to make up time on muscle ups if they were already good at them and doing 7 unbroken every round. But there are places to make up time on the wall balls and the double unders and transitions. So look at that and then come up with a game plan.
I think this is the year that Travis finished 3rd in the world in the Open. I'm not positive, but I think so, and I think he did this workout just unbroken and kept going for the 14
I
hours.
remember he just absolutely crushed it. But
Yeah.
he's also really good at all of these.
He's
Maybe he
really
won't
good at
beat
wall
his
ball
score.
and double under, and muscle ups, I think, in reps of 7, I think,
Right.
are low enough based on how they're spread out. So I think for the elite scores, it's really going to be about the transitions and probably like execution. Like, can you make sure that every one of your double under sets is unbroken without an error or an unforced
No,
error?
the clock disappeared.
Oh, no.
Maybe Chris will fix it before this airs. So they're coming towards the end. Pip did all her wall balls in 15, 15, 10, 10, and she's done a really good job being disciplined with her rest break, and I think that's keeping her close to Jordan. Because on that last set of muscle ups, she had a fail,
Yeah.
and she's still not
Well, Jordan
too
did
far
have one
behind.
no rep, too.
Yeah, but he jumped up within 3 seconds
Sure.
to lock it out.
I don't know when the end is. We'll just have to figure out.
It's coming.
Yeah, they're going to fall or something.
it explodes.
You'll know.
Pip gets to the double unders. So
Pip's done a
that's
really
when
good
you'll
job
know.
with her wall ball rest breaks, and that's something we talked about earlier. But there's nothing wrong with taking the break. Just make sure that you're staying on a clock, or if this is the open, start practicing now. Having somebody say, "Hey, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1," and kind of have that sense of urgency to get back on it, even if it's unsustainable, so you can kind of get a feel for what is sustainable when the open comes.
Yeah. Yeah, she seems pretty composed, like breathing is good. Jordan actually does too. I was trying to watch his respiration cadence when he just got down the squat, and you can tell that when he's not jumping, he's really breathing hard. So this is going to get nasty.
Oh, yeah.
This is going to be a spicy one, folks.
You can
Maybe you
tell
could
that
bring back
she-
Chili Willy for that.
So there's 10 seconds
seconds
left. You can tell that she really picked up her cadence. She grabbed the rope and is basically spinning as fast as she can, which I think makes sense, right? You're trying to get as many reps as you can, and those are free reps right now.
And watching the clock. What a veteran.
Bet.
Well done.
Great job, guys.
To the whiteboard we go.
Hi, matey.
All right, so our two demo athletes were Jordan and Pip. Both of them finished in round 3. Jordan was a little bit closer to finishing, where he had 94 double unders and Pip had 40 double unders. So their initial paces were pretty close on the first round. Jordan was about a 3:36 pace and Pip was about a 3:42 pace. If we rewind time back to the leaderboard of 15.3, the winners of that, I think it was Ben Smith and Sam Briggs, were just over 4 rounds, which means that is the pace that they would hold for the entire workout, about 3:30 for the whole workout. So I do think that it makes sense to go out a little bit fast in that first round, especially because the muscle ups in that first round are completely fresh. Whereas in the second round, you're already doing 50 wall balls and 100 double unders leading into them. So I think for anybody that's not a world-class elite level athlete, there's gonna be some speed deterioration from round to round. To give you some context, Jordan dropped off about a minute, so he was 4:40 to finish his second round, whereas Pip fell off about 2 minutes. And I think almost all of that time for Pip specifically was in the muscle up. So that should give you an idea that if you're muscle up limited in this workout, it is going to chew up a lot of your time and you're gonna have to figure out how to strategize around it. For Jordan, he fell off a little bit more into his last round, but Pip's pace stayed relatively steady throughout. So this kind of gives you some sort of an indication that for Jordan, this workout was a little bit more metabolic, where he could take advantage of his good gymnastics on the muscle ups and his good double unders, where the wall ball and just general fatigue was slowing him down, whereas Pip wasn't really able to tap into the energy systems as much because she was jammed up by her muscle ups specifically.
You're jammed up.
I'm jammed up verbally right now. All right, so elites would be 3:30 to finish round 1, 7 minutes to finish round 2, 10:30 to finish round 3, and then right at the time cap to finish that round 4. That is basically flying and unbroken with relatively fast transitions. So I think even on this retest, we're not gonna see that much of an overall improvement in that top number, but I do think we will see more people nowadays with the capability to get close to that top number. Some tips moving forward for each one of the movements. So for the muscle ups, I'd say 1 set, if you can do it, take that one as your opportunity to go unbroken. You're fresh, you haven't done anything before it. I think it makes sense to not necessarily empty the tank and go to failure, but if you can do it, think about that being the fastest 7 muscle ups you're going to do in the workout. After that, you're just basically gonna have to go by feel and your capacity. If you're somebody that can do 15 unbroken muscle ups, then you might be thinking, okay, I'm gonna try to go unbroken through rounds 1 and 2. If you're somebody that can do 20 unbroken muscle ups, maybe you're thinking unbroken every round. And if you're somebody that can do 8 unbroken, you might be thinking, okay, I'm gonna do the first set unbroken, and then from there, I'm gonna try to break it into 3-2-2 or something that kind of chops it up into smaller numbers. For the wall balls, my recommendation would be transition quickly from the muscle ups to the wall balls and get your first set started immediately. Like we talked about in this video, if you break wall balls, but you do them quickly and take really short breaks, you can actually get through 50 in almost the same amount of time as doing 50 unbroken. But what that means essentially is that your break is ball hits the target, it comes down to the ground. As it's hitting the ground, you're basically going back and scooping it up, which means you're just basically taking away 1 eccentric every time you break and getting 1 extra breath. That little bit can actually play a big role. control. So I would say transition quick, get the wall balls started, and if you do break, keep them quick there. For double unders, again, I would transition quickly to that movement unless double unders is a big bottleneck for you, like it is for me. Then you might want to slow down as you transition to there because your arms might be blown up for the wall balls. But for most people, I'd say the double unders and the wall balls are the lower skill components of this workout. As you're doing that, if you miss, my recommendation in these types of workouts, just to avoid compounding errors, is to take a quick break, get settled, get your rope in the right place, and then start back with rhythm. Sometimes those misses can compound because people get anxious that their plan was to go unbroken, so they rush back into the set, and one miss turns into 2 misses, turns into 3 misses, and that just wastes a ton of time. If you just miss and you take 3 seconds to get your head settled and jump back into it and you do your 100 double unders in 2 sets, you're not really losing that much time in the grand scheme of this workout because the muscle ups are where the bigger separators are gonna be for people. Then push the pace on this without redlining. My recommendation as you push the pace to that is that when you go back to the muscle ups, unless you're one of these freakish athletes that's going for 4+ rounds, that's gonna be your slowest transition. You're gonna go back to the rings, you're gonna need to kind of settle your heart rate a little bit, you're gonna probably have to chalk up. So if you already know that that longer rest break is coming, that's where I would kind of moderate your transition speed. Some target scores, elites, like we talked about, 4 rounds plus, which is 630 total reps. I forgot to put the semi ones in here, but it's 3.5 total rounds. So Jordan and Pip were kind of where I would put RX athletes. So 471 is completing the 3rd round of the workout. And I think this is basically where they are as athletes. Jordan being able to express his gymnastics capability and be an RX athlete here. And then Pip just kind of got exposed on this workout specifically, having muscle ups being one of her weaknesses. But on the leaderboard in the open, she might be making up time on barbell cycling or a different type of workout that doesn't expose one of her limitations. So RX scores are gonna be in there, and then semis are gonna kind of funnel anywhere between that 470 and 630 range. So getting through the muscle ups, some of the wall balls, or maybe all of the wall balls, and kind of being in that double under set. Those are some targets. Crush your retests if you've done this before. If not, have fun with this. It's a nasty one. It's a nasty one. See ya. It didn't harmonize. We didn't do a wave either.
You gotta, let's see it. Just one word.
Let's
see it. I said both words.
There you go.
Let's
See it. You said it.
Yes, what you did.
I tried to fix it that time.
All right, you're feeling it.
Yeah.
Let's
See it.
What's going on down there?
Just
Eat it.
you keep saying see, and you start there.
Let's
See.
It's a wrap, you know what I'm saying? Your boy Project Pata in this thing, man. Hey, look, man, thank y'all for watching Training Think Tank's YouTube channel. Y'all hit that motherfucking subscribe button, you know what I'm saying? So y'all go ahead, man. Thank y'all for watching the channel, you know what I'm saying? Hit that motherfucking subscribe button, let it be known, what it be known, what it be known, you know what I'm saying? Pata.